Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods at Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Ramsey personality and best-selling author Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with my good friend and best-selling author, Dr. John Deloney. And we are here taking your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. So first up, we have Zach in Winston-Salem. Where's North Carolina? I know, but...
Oh, hold on. We got the phones are all goofed up.
The phones are all goofed up. Hold on. Oh. All right, Zach. Hold on, Zach. We're coming to you. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, John. Technology. I was like, I looked down. I was like, that's not
technology. All right, we're back.
Hey, Zach. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing great. How can we help?
Yeah, so I'll try to make this pretty quick. I'll just start by saying I should have listened to you guys like 2 years ago when I called, and I didn't. But that's water under the bridge. So I have been in baby step 2 for about 2.5 years, and I'm almost to the end. Looking like maybe October-ish, I'll be completely out of my debt. I have about $20,000 left.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but hoping to be soon. So my question is, for the past 3 years, I've done 2 jobs. I've been in public education, and I've also had a job as a field inspector. I have full autonomy with that job, so I sort of set my own schedule. But about 6 months ago, that became the primary source of income. And so I sort of had to pick one, and obviously I picked that one. I've sort of been looking for an exit from public education for a while. I've had my real estate license for about a year and been doing that part-time, and made the decision to replace public education with real estate. So this summer I'm making that transition full-time. I've had some success since I've gone full-time, but still getting my feet under me. Don't really have a idea of what it looks like. And so my question is, when my school checks run out, because I'm a 12-month employee, I get paid through September, should I stop and stack cash to build a buffer until I know what that looks like? Or should I continue on and finish baby step 2?
Well, you have a job. Besides the real estate, you have another career that you're doing, right?
Yes, and the margin with that is about $500 to $750, maybe $1,000 in a good month. And so just not used to having margin like that small, and I just want to make sure that I think you're going to tell me to keep plowing through.
Gotcha.
I just want the peace of mind and to know I'm sure I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, I would still encourage you to keep doing it. I mean, even if there's a career change there for you and the numbers, even if they go down and they dip down, I would still stay the track. And I would honestly, Zach, if you can get this paid off by October, that's just in a few months. So I'm like, anything that you need to do, even if it's working extra for a month, at night or whatever it is, just to go ahead and get that knocked out, because once that's done, then that $500 to $1,000 of margin that you're getting, that's going to be all yours to then move on to save up for an emergency fund and all that. So yeah, it's a small setback once those checks run out from your teaching, but I would still keep going forward.
Okay.
I probably would not have quit my teaching job just yet, but you've already done that. You've already submitted your letter.
Yeah, and I didn't really have a choice. I had to pick one or the other. I couldn't continue to perform and keep the other job and do that well enough to keep that job. So I had to pick one or the other. Okay,
but you're getting paid through September, right? So, and you're going to be debt free in October.
Yeah,
so it's just 1 month.
And I have made some money through real estate, and hopefully that'll pick up. I don't feel comfortable saying, hey, I can make this much money a month in real estate yet.
Okay.
You're going to find out as a real estate agent, this is 24/7, 365, those who make it. And very few make it. So I would recommend you do exactly what Rachel said. I'd start driving Uber at night, and I would take real estate calls as they come in and as they come in the morning when I'm driving people to work. I would do whatever I could that the moment that this September check comes through, that's my last check to pay off my debt. And at least I don't owe anybody anything as I roll into just having one job and then a book of business I'm trying to build on the real estate side.
Yeah, it's good. All right, Zach, thanks for the call. Up next, we have Mary in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hey, Mary, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. How can we help?
Well, I just got a new job yesterday, and I'm needing to get a vehicle for it. I currently don't have a vehicle. I'll be going from place to place cleaning and stuff in the county, and so I'll need a vehicle for that. I'm kind of wondering, maybe step one, how I can cash flow a used new-to-me car.
Yeah, great question. Well, congrats on the job. That's exciting.
What's the job?
It's going to be cleaning. I'll be going around cleaning, like after people move out of apartments or they build new apartments. They come through and paint and do all that stuff, and then we come in behind them and get it ready for the tenants to move in.
Very
or
cool.
Just move out.
That's
type
awesome.
of thing like that. So lots of cleaning. So I'll be learning new skills and all kinds of stuff.
Excellent. Way to go.
Good for you, Mary. Do you have any money saved?
No, I do not. I'm just starting on baby step one. I'm currently in an FPU class, and I'm just starting out on the baby step one. So I
awesome.
have anything saved. I'll have to figure out how to cash flow this.
Yeah,
So
that's
not
great.
All our locations are on the bus line. Some are on the bus line, but most are not.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So do you? So you have no other savings, and what will you be making in this job? How much a month?
It's going to be part time, and it kind of varies. It's almost like a commission thing, and then I'm a 1099 employee, so I get paid like it seems like what I'm getting the quote is like 30 to 50 per job.
Okay.
So.
And what will you be doing? If that's part time, how are you getting to full time work?
Well, that is the first thing I've been able to get at this point.
Okay.
I do painting and artwork on as well as another side gig. So these are kind of like two small, side gigs I'm doing right now concurrently.
Awesome.
Like this is a new one, and I actually just got a call today about another 40-hour week job in addition to that.
Excellent.
Good, Mary. That's great.
Too,
So
Yeah.
Mary, if you were my friend or sister, tell me if I'm wrong, Rachel. I would tell you, because let's say you went and borrowed $3,000 and you have to pay that back, and you're paying back $150 a month. Let's just make up a number. If you in your local community, just because you're going to do 1 to 2 of these cleanings a day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I would Uber over there, and it's going to cost you $4 or $5 a trip. And if you add that up over the course of your month, because some days you won't do any, some days you'll do 2, maybe even 3 if you're able to. I would not borrow money, especially this new into a part-time job. I would Uber over there, and if I could take the bus, I would take the bus. But if I could Uber over there, and I know the bus, man, they're so unreliable when it comes to, like, I got to be there on a certain time. But, man, I would Uber over there.
That, or, Mary, if there's people within this, the same kind of industry, if you will, that they're getting you from as a 1099, if there's somebody that you can partner with and do the cleaning together and say, hey, if it's a 2-person job, always sign me up, and see if that person, if you can at least meet that person, right? Maybe you can take the bus close to their house. Like, you can find a way to even carpool. That would be it. But I would definitely say don't take out loans, and it's going to be really inconvenient for a season, but save up and pay cash for that next car. But congrats, Mary. I'm excited for you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. If you guys enjoy this show, we just were meeting some people in the lobby, and some of them were like, we listen every day. So listen, if you're someone that loves it, will you please help us spread the word and share the show to people that you know, send it to your friends, leave a review, subscribe, just kind of engage with it, because all of that helps out in the world of the internet to get this message out more, because we want people to have hope in all these different areas of their lives, and hopefully we can help guide them in their story and in their process. So okay, let's go to the phones. Again, it's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. And we have Anna in Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, Anna, welcome to the show.
Hey, I was calling about graduate school where I start in the fall. And I was wondering how y'all would go about that.
What program?
For physical therapy.
Very cool.
Good for you.
Physical therapy is really expensive, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How are you planning on paying for it?
Yeah, how are you going to
Anna?
pay for it?
Yes, so I applied for loans, and I did get approved for unsubsidized loans, and
Sure you did.
I am new to all this, so I don't know much about it, but I was wondering if y'all would advise to apply for Direct Plus loans.
So I would tell you, as somebody who took out 6 figures for my graduate school loans and was not able to fully take a breath or exhale for years, I can't in good conscience. And I worked at colleges for 20 years, and I believe deeply in college. I am saving for my kids to go to school. I believe it is an important part of a democracy. I believe in it. And I can't in good conscience tell you to borrow $75,000 to $150,000 to get a PT degree, to come out making $75,000, which is the last average I looked in that particular career. It's going to be brutal. And so I would tell you to ask to defer your enrollment and get about saving money like a wild woman, and save and save and save and save and pay cash for this thing. I just can't in good conscience recommend it. And by the way, I've worked with physical therapists who do this for a career and like in coaching situations, and it's tough because they want to have kids and they want to start families, and they owe so much money when they get done with these programs.
Yeah. Anna, how much is tuition per semester?
For out of state, it's about $100K, and then
Per semester?
for 3 years.
For 3 years
then
total.
I am trying to get in state right now, since we own property within the state, so it'd be $48K
What is 48 per year?
for 3 years.
48 for all 3 years, or 48 per year for 3 years?
For all 3 years.
Okay.
Okay,
All
that's more doable. And I would not go out of state. I mean, when you have a chance to cut your bill in half, that's the smartest way. So even if it's deferring, even if it's saying no to that and applying to another college in your state, is it in Alabama?
It is not.
Okay.
It's in Tennessee.
Okay. But you have property in Tennessee, so you think you can get that in state. I would not do the $100,000, Anna.
Yeah, don't
regardless.
pay out of state tuition. That many graduate programs will waive that fee, and I would save up and call a counselor and say, I'm going to take a year, I'm going to defer my enrollment for 1 year, I'm going to save up $50,000. I don't know how you do that. I don't know what your daytime job is, but I'm going to save up that money, and then I've got $50,000 to put down on this program over 3 years. I need this to be in-state tuition. And right now, in many programs, I don't know the state of PT off the top of my head, but in many programs, what used to be our parents and even me, the applicants, there was way more applicants than there were seats in these classes. In many programs, that has flipped. And there's way more empty seats than there are applicants. And so they make it feel it's artificially constricted. So there's going to be programs you can get into. Please don't get your heart set on one program that you have to do it, and you're going to pay double what they're offering you, the guy sitting in the seat next to you. Just don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And please don't borrow money to do it. Please take out cash.
Because even, Anna, when you look at the numbers of the 48, I'm like, that's about $8,000 a semester. And So what I would do, Anna, is I would even wait a year, pause, go work somewhere, go work in a physical therapy clinic, like go actually be part of it. Because I think that is one of the problems, John, that can happen is, had you just graduated in May, Anna? Are you just going right into grad school this fall?
I graduate in the fall and then start in the fall.
Okay.
I'm graduating undergrad a year early.
Okay. So
how much undergrad debt do you already have?
0.
Oh, that's so great. Awesome.
Yeah, Anna, I really would. I would pause. For me, if it were me, go work somewhere and even work in that field just to get an idea of like, hey, this is what life looks like day in and day out. Because sometimes, I don't know if you feel like this, John, but you can like romanticize just any career.
What happens a lot in teacher education programs, they get all the way through until they do their student teaching and they're like, oh, I hate this. But they're 3.5 years in. A lot of programs have moved clinicals to the very first thing you do is just for that very reason.
Yes,
right?
yes. So, I mean, honestly, Anna, in order for you to cash flow this, make it in-state, that in-state tuition. Don't be, like John said, so focused on this one program. Look at options and take your time because honestly, this one decision with one swipe of your signature could determine your whole future and a level of stress, of anxiety, of paying back debt, and your career choices, having to make family choices in the future. I mean, there's so much there, Anna. And when you don't have loans, when you actually are slow and patient through this process, which is not fun and exciting. Like, I get it. I get you're probably very excited about this and you think this is what you want to do, and it may end up being what you do. But taking time and having patience is going to give you different options, and you're actually going to be able to go through this. I really believe being able to cash flow it. So that's our recommendation, Anna. So thanks for calling. It sounded like you were a new listener, so I appreciate it. But those loans that had been offered to you, I would throw that in the trash.
Well, and one quick thing, yeah, and that's key. Throw them in the trash. Don't submit them back anywhere if you've already applied for them. Just before you defer, tell the admissions counselor. Tell them, hey, at the end of the day, I've decided I can't, in good conscience, take out student loans for this program. I really want to be a part of it. I'm willing to do a graduate assistantship. I'm willing to do work study. I'm willing to do anything that y'all can provide that would allow me to get this to be a part of this program. But I got to cash flow it. And they may just come up with extra scholarship dollars because they're trying to make their class. There's a whole bunch of other things that may happen that as they're trying to shape this class. So it's worth asking.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is communicate. Talk to them.
But know this, communicate knowing you're in the driver's seat. You're not, they make it feel like you're like, please, 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 like that old Mervyn's ad, like open. It is not the case. They need you.
Yeah.
They need you.
Yeah.
And so be confident when you say, hey, I can't do it right now. Will you please defer this? Or if we can figure out a scholarship, I'd be happy to come.
So good. So good. Well, all right, you guys, Anna is a new listener, and so many of you guys listen to The Ramsey Show even every single day. And you know the stuff that we teach, but you may still feel stressed out and stuck when it comes to your money. Because here's the deal. Knowing what to do with your money isn't the problem. It's actually doing it. And Anna is a great example of this, right? Like, you give her this information. It's like she knows what to do, but actually following through with it and doing it is what's so important, because personal finance is 80% behavior. It's only 20% head knowledge. And so there is a proven way to change your behavior with money, and that is by taking a Financial Peace University class. And this class is different. Is the difference between trying to get in shape versus hiring a personal trainer. I mean, you will have a coordinator with you. You will have a class around you for the encouragement, and people are such a key part of change. And so having that community, what Financial Peace University can provide, is so key. So don't just listen to the show, actually commit yourself to doing something, doing a process to win. So join an FPU class at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. We'll be back.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls. So up next, we have Nick in Austin, Texas. Hey, Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for taking the call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
So my business partner and I built a spec house right outside of Austin, and it's currently listed on the market for $1 million. And if we sell at that price, we'll profit $300,000. And from that $300,000, we're going to cut ourselves each a check of $100,000 and then put the remaining $100,000 back into our business account. And so I was just wondering, what do you recommend for me to invest that $100,000 to start building wealth?
Get out of this partnership ASAP.
I was going to say, I wouldn't do the partnership, Nick.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but that's not why you're calling, so go for it, Rachel. Let me ask you this. How are you floating this note right now? Because you got a $700,000 mortgage on this thing. How are y'all floating that note?
It's a construction loan, and we're paying the interest basically out of our own pockets.
What's that note?
It's $500,000 construction loan. We're paying 10.9% interest.
But what are you paying every month? What are y'all splitting?
We're splitting about $4,000.
So $2,000. Where are you getting the $2,000?
From my regular job, which I make about $75,000 a year.
Okay.
Wait a minute. There's no way that there's a $500,000 loan that's $4,000. You're putting in $4,000 and he's putting in $4,000?
No, we're each putting in 2.
Well, they're paying the interest. It's just the interest.
Oh, just interest. Jeez Louise.
Okay. So Nick,
man, you are making a banker rich, man. You are hooking them up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our first one, so we had to bite the bullet on this high interest.
Not really, but go ahead. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Nick, where are you financially? What kind of debt do you have?
I have no debt.
Okay.
Except for a $500,000 mortgage of a house you don't live in.
Except for that.
Except for that.
Okay, Nick, how much money do you have in the bank?
I have about $50,000 in crypto and stocks, and in the bank, ready to go, I have about $8,000.
Okay.
Oh, you're incredible. You watch a lot of Instagram, don't you?
How old are you, Nick?
27.
Awesome. Okay, here's what I like about you, Nick. You're running and gunning. Like, you're doing stuff.
No,
okay?
Nick's a gangster, dude. He's awesome.
Yes, okay. Can we just, give you, a whole money makeover right now? Like, if John and I were to, invade your home, Nick, and you were like, help me with every part of my money. Not just what to do with this $100,000, but my life.
Let me approach it this way. Can
we just speak in and
I ask it? I'm going to ask it this way, okay? How long has this house been completed? How long has the construction been completed?
2 months.
2 months, okay. And if you're like me at all, you've long since spent this $100,000. And probably when y'all are fantasizing about it, it was going to be 1.2 or 1.3. But it's down to $100,000. You've long since spent this money in your mind. And every month, your chest is getting a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. And you're starting to go, whoa. Right? And so here's what we're offering you. You've got your way, bro. You've got crypto. You've got the whole thing. You are doing the TikTok, Instagram playbook down to the T. Do we have your permission to offer you just another vision of what your life could look like?
Absolutely. Please do.
All right, let's do it.
Amazing. Okay. So here's what I would do, Nick. I would cash out the 50 grand out of crypto and out of single stocks. And I would just put that in a brokerage account just to have, because we'll do some stuff with that later with that 50 grand. I would add the 100 grand to it. So you have $150,000 of your money. So I would not go back into real estate deals like what you're doing because it's very risky. And even though it seems like, yeah, it's a done deal, to John's point, when you keep taking on this risk and as the market fluctuates, if a buyer doesn't come, if your friend, who I'm sure is a great friend, does something crazy and nutty and all of this, like, I mean, there's just so much risk in what you're doing, especially if you continue down this road. There's a greed, Nick, that can start to creep in where it's like, oh, I can do that, I can do that. And you start piling on this mindset that ends up like coming into just a lot of risk and a lot of debt. So I would just stop that road completely. So after the sale of this, get everything going. And then I would go back and say, okay, I'm making 75 grand. I have $150,000. What's the wisest thing for me to do? I would take a chunk of that because you have 8 grand just in savings, which I think is plenty for a 3-month emergency fund. You're single? Are you single?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend, but yeah. Single.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that 8 grand can just be an emergency fund, kind of a placeholder over here. And then I would invest this money, Nick. Do you have a primary residence? Do you own a home?
I rent an apartment in Austin.
Awesome. Okay. Do you think Austin will be a long-term place for you?
Yeah, for at least the next 5-10 years.
Perfect. Okay. So what I would do, Nick, is I would buy real estate with that $150,000. And that could be.
It'd actually be $200,000 because I would not put that other 100 into some pseudo joint business account that y'all are just going to put down on another house. So you split that up. You each take 150, 150.
Yep.
Wipe your forehead and go, whew, we made it on this one. We got real lucky. Mm-hmm. And then don't ever do speculative real estate again.
Yeah. And I would use some of that. I would invest some of it, Nick, maybe 15% of that lump sum. Go ahead and invest it. Do you have a 401k at work?
I have a Roth IRA.
Awesome.
There you go. Perfect.
Yep. I would go ahead and max that out. Go ahead and just put some money in that for the year. Get that going. And then use the rest of this. I mean, I would look to, get a down payment on a home because obviously you love real estate. Austin's a great market. I mean, it's so popular. But I would find something, even if it's a townhome for you that is a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, the payment's no more than 25% of your take home pay. Put a good down payment on a home and start working to pay that off. Because what I want for you, Nick, when you look up in 5 years, for your life to be yours, not attached to a business partner, not attached to all these real estate deals that are out there and you're hoping are going to sell and that it's going to end up, it's going to end up okay because this deal did. Not every deal does.
It hasn't yet, but it might.
Oh, that's true. It hasn't even sold yet.
It hasn't sold yet.
Yep. And I would just be investing. And then on the side, Nick, once your primary home is paid off, then I would say, okay, yeah, you're a smart guy. So start saving up some money on the side and get you a small rental. Like go find a condo or an apartment or something small to buy to dip your toe in and actually own the real estate instead of doing all this flipping and new construction. Actually own it, get equity in it and play the real estate game that way versus what you're doing is what I would do personally.
And let me tell you, like in my house, this is me and my wife and my kids. I am right now putting money in a money market account every month. I'm just hoarding cash. And you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for there to be another dip in the market, and I'm going to come buy your house for $500,000. Because y'all are going to have to get out of it at some point. You can't keep robbing Peter to pay Paul. And there's going to be a whole bunch of real estate across this country in the exact situation you and your partner are in, where you had $1 million dream that turned into a $500,000 nightmare. All you're doing is paying interest, and this machine is just growing and growing. It's getting heavier and heavier. And so I'm just going to wait until I can pay for something with cash. And so what we're telling you is not something that we just made up for fun. This is how we live our personal lives. And I'm going to buy real estate at a discounted price with cash that's going to be mine and nobody can ever take it from me. And I won't care what the interest rates are. I don't care any about that crap. And me and my wife are going to sleep so well. I'm going to be able to help somebody in my community, maybe even with a little bit of a compressed rent because I can, right? Because I own it. It's mine. And so here's what we're trying to paint you. A picture of a non-anxious life, man. A life where you can breathe and you can go hang out in Austin, which is one of the greatest cities in America, and you can go have fun, and you and your girlfriend can go out, and you are not unable to breathe because every time you look up and you're about to put your debit card down for dinner, you think, I got to spend $2,000 just to get the interest covered on this thing. I hope homeboy pays his half, because he may not, because he's been screwing around with whatever. You never know, man. And so we're painting a picture that's slow and boring and that will make you a multi-millionaire over the long haul.
Yep. Low risk, the long game.
Wise. Play the long game, bro.
And autonomy. Owning your life, Nick, not distributing it out to all these other people. So thanks for calling. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. So, John, there was an article in Forbes that I saw, and it was talking about before paying off all your debt, consider the downsides.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The downsides of paying all of your debt off. So
but before we even read this, I have to say, so in my nerd world, whenever there's a study cited, like a scientific study, the authors have to put their conflicts of interest down there. Whose funds their lab, where they receive money from. Yeah. Just in case they're writing a research paper on how good sugar is for you, and they're sponsored by like the Gummy Bears of America, right? And so they have to disclose that. Anytime I see something like this, I always have to wonder, like, whose author is behind this article, right? Because it's just on its merits, it's silly. But go ahead.
Totally. No, that's a great point. That's a good point. Okay, so the article goes on that the author is saying that they paid off $300,000 of debt in their 30s, which they were doing the FIRE movement, so the whole retire early kind of movement. So they basically lived on nothing and put all their money to pay off debt and to retire. So here are some of the downsides, John. And some of these, honestly, I'm like, yeah, some of these make sense. You may have hiccups traveling internationally. So she gave up credit cards several years ago. And she said, I saw a lot of difference in my spending habits. I became a lot more intentional and spent significantly less money overall by getting rid of the cards and using a debit card. And she said, but some of the hotels required a credit card for incidentals, and we had to negotiate using our debit card. One particular car rental business in Italy required cards to have credit limits that would cover up to the insurance limit, and our debit card did not do that.
Okay, but I want to stop here. This whole paragraph is all positive, if you ask me. There's some inconvenience, but it's not a downside.
It's not a downside,
right?
That's right.
So I gave up using credit cards, and I started being more intentional and spending less. Ta-da! That's what we tell people all the time.
Totally.
I stopped taking cash out. Right? I mean, we started tracking cash. Ta-da! To stick to our budget. Ta-da! A few hotels, we had to have an extra conversation. Okay.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
You and I travel a lot.
Yep.
We both have to do that.
Yes.
I'm traveling internationally in a few weeks. I had to, the person who's putting together the travel for me, I had my debit card. They had to split the purchase twice because there was a limit on that debit card, and we contacted the bank, but he had to run it twice and split it. It was a pain in the butt. But it was an extra phone call.
For 2 minutes, and then you're done. Yep,
right,
that's it.
Right.
And the rental car, one particular rental car company wouldn't rent, and I run into that traveling. So you find the rental car companies that will, and we have 2 of those. Winston and I use, we kind of switch off.
Yep. And I literally
use those.
I looked at one in the Dallas airport, and I said, please help me give you my money. And they were like, well, it's 24 hours. I said, no, listen, I'm trying to give you my money. They didn't want my business. That's great. And I literally went to the next counter and I said, will you help me? And they're like, oh my gosh, they made a car in 4 minutes.
They didn't care.
And I was on to the day. That's right.
That's right. Okay. The next one is your credit score may have disappeared, even with an extensive credit history. So in 2015, millions of American consumers, representing about 11% of all adults, were credit invisible. Meaning they didn't have a credit score. So she goes through talking about that, if you don't have a credit score, you can run into some issues, just like taking out a mortgage, which is her next point. But
this is kind of like saying, I don't want to get married because I used to date a lot and I was really good at dating, and I don't want to lose my reputation as a great dater. Right? It's like when you get married, you're like, that's not your identity anymore. And so when you're married to credit scores as the metric for whether I'm financially successful or not, and the one that blew my mind, I say this all the time on the show, if I called the author of this article and just gave her $1 million in cash, it would not change your credit score because it has nothing to do with your wealth.
With how much money you have.
Nothing. It has to do with how much you can borrow.
How much
based
debt.
on how much you've borrowed in the past and how good you were at paying it back. Has nothing to do with your financial situation.
That's right. And the credit score will go down, you guys. If you get out of debt, just like she experienced, your credit score, I think it's on average 12 to 18 months. It basically just goes down, 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 and disappears. So if you're going to get a mortgage, which we'll talk about that next because that's her next point, then if you pull your credit score for any reason, it's not going to be great as you're getting out of debt, but eventually it will become undetermined, meaning that they can't determine a credit score because you don't have credit history.
And here's what it says. For a while, I just lived without a credit score, paying for everything in cash and not having any issues because my house was paid off and I wasn't intending to move. Ta-da! That's the thing. And then COVID came and I needed to make some drastic changes. Awesome. Happened to millions and millions of people. And I need to get a new home and sell the one I paid off. And that leads us to the next point.
Yep. So her next point of that a downside of paying off all your debt is that if it's harder to take out a loan, particularly a mortgage. So we talk about this a lot on the show. We don't want you to have any debt. So you shouldn't be applying for any kind of loan, and not a personal loan, not a car loan. No loan. So there's no reason to pull the credit score for a loan. Now, a mortgage is the one type of debt we always say we won't yell at you for, but you can still get a mortgage through manual underwriting. Okay, so this is where instead of pulling a credit score and deciding, dependent upon the score, can you get the loan or not, they actually look at you, the person, and you have to be current on a job for 2 years and current on all of your bills. I like to say for at least 2 years. So keep a record of your cell phone payments, cable, internet, electricity, like any type of bills that you have monthly. Keep track of those. If you know in the future, hey, we're not going to have a credit score and we're going to want to buy a home, they're going to need this for manual underwriting.
Which all those are kept with your online profile of those individual things, right? They keep all those.
We still get ours and we still get paper.
Well, that's because you'll hate the environment. It's fine. That's you and your Winston. It's fine.
Why do we still do? We do. We still get paper.
But we make our own butter, so there we go.
It's 2023. It's online, so you can go back and look at all your history online. But getting a mortgage, yes, again, inconvenient, and we'll admit to that all day long.
Well, I think George said it was an extra piece of paper. Like it was an extra sheet he had to fill out?
For him. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And here again, I always want to look at these titles and then read the actual article. And this is scientific articles. This is headlines. Because before paying off all your debt, consider the downsides. Ultimately, this section, the hardest thing, right, is about getting a loan for a mortgage. That's fair. It was really frustrating to explain my situation. That is not a downside, America. That is simply a momentary inconvenience and kind of a pain in the butt. When all these TV ads have you able to get a mortgage on your cell phone, you actually had to tell the banker, I need to do manual underwriting because I'm a millionaire. I just don't owe anybody any money. I'd like to make a purchase. And they'll all go, okay. Send your cell phone bill, right? I mean, if the maximum downside in your life is that you're really frustrated explaining your situation, you're doing all right.
You're doing good.
You're doing great.
That's a good downside.
Good job, America. All right, and the last one. This is my favorite one. Oh, geez.
Ready? You may feel guilt spending money, even when you can afford it. So, what a downside of being debt-free, not paying interest, not owing anyone anything, having the freedom to make your own decisions. But man, I feel guilty every now and then about spending money.
So I'm not laughing at the guilt. I feel this. I came from a home that was highly money insecure. It was tough. I still to this day have to exhale. I walked around Guitar Center the other night, budget in hand, like ready to rock and roll, and I couldn't do it until finally I did it, right? It was tough. That guilt is real. That is not a downside to paying off my debt. That is a built-in trauma response that I have that me and a counselor need to work out. I don't need to counsel people and tell them, hey, don't get peace in your life because you're going to feel weird about it. I need to go deal with my personal feelings. And so if this is you, if you've paid off everything and you realize it didn't solve all your childhood wounds, it won't.
Yep.
You got to go do that work.
It's such a good point.
You gotta go do that
and
work.
A lot of people feel this, you guys. Like, that is something we run into. So if you're on baby steps 4 and beyond, like, force yourself to spend and enjoy. Build that muscle back.
Practice. There you go.
Yeah, and practice it. So that's awesome. John, thanks for a great hour. Thanks to all the guys in the booth. And Emily. Ebu. Shout out to my girl. And thank you, America, for listening. We'll be back. Hey, it's Rachel Cruz. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney. And we're taking your calls across America. It's a free call, you guys, so 888-825-5225, and we will be chatting about career, relationships, your money, anything and everything. So give us a call. First up, we have Chase in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Chase, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
I'm curious if y'all have any advice on making a career change while you're trying to pay off debt. Just a little backstory. About a little less than a year ago, I changed careers to do something that I really wanted to do, something that I was really passionate about, but it was kind of on a gamble of a part-time job that would hopefully become full-time, and it has not become full-time yet. And so my wife and I agreed that, it coming up on that year, if it wasn't full-time, I was going to have to figure out something full-time because we just need to be pulling in more money.
Yeah.
Just feeling a little hopeless as that's coming up because I've applied to a couple jobs and that's come back. My wife's been the provider mainly, I'm working part-time. So she's been the provider for the past year. And just as the husband and as the, just spiritual head and everything I want to be providing. That's a really hard thing for me to not have. And so I'm kind of just unsure of where to go. Yeah.
I'll hop in and Rachel, you hop in too. Is that cool? Mm-hmm. So first, how old are you, brother?
I'm 26.
Okay. So I'm glad you learned this lesson at 26. That's awesome. Some of the stupidest wisdom of our era, our age that we live in, is this notion of follow your passion. I'm just going to go, what the science tells us is we become passionate about what we're good at, and what we're good at are things that we have to practice over a long period of time. And what that also tells me is if I get a job as a podcaster or a YouTuber or a radio person like I have right now that I wasn't particularly passionate about, I was really passionate about helping people. Over time, I've become super passionate about this gig. Does that make sense? And so it's finding out what's my role, what's my purpose. But dude, if I got fired tomorrow, if Dave just fired me tomorrow and I was working at Burger King this weekend, I would want people to have a little bit better day after interacting with me than before, right? So my purpose for being alive would still be intact. It would just look very different, and I would not be making as much money as I make right now, right? So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to challenge you to not conflate leadership and head of household with I make the most money. I think that's a dangerous path to go down. There's been seasons of my marriage when my wife makes way more money than me, and it's been awesome because we're in this thing together. And there's been seasons when I make way more money than her, and it's awesome because we're in this thing together. But when you set yourself up as I'm a failure, or I am not doing X, Y, and Z, and so I'm not meeting some, I don't know. I don't want to get started down that road, but you're not meeting some standard that you've invented, or probably somebody invented it and handed it to you. That usually comes out in guys making a lot of immature decisions, or being angry a lot, or being ashamed a lot, and there's no sense in bringing that into your marriage. So be really, really grateful that you have a wife that's kicking butt and keeping y'all afloat. I'm really proud of y'all for putting a deadline on this thing, putting a marker in the sand and saying, okay, we're going to give this all we got for a year, and then we're going to have to pivot and make another decision. Awesome. And you get to be really sad that it didn't work out. That sucks. You can grieve it and be bummed out about it, and then say, cool, what comes next? But it's not coming next because here's what I think. I think you're adding those extra variables, because I need to be this and I got to be this, the extra pressure. Because you're really sad that this thing didn't work out. Is that fair?
That is fair. You hit the nail on the head with the anger and the shame of everything.
And for guys, really, and Chase, I would tell you that, and John, you can speak into this, for all the work we've done around specifically just like men and women when it comes to money. For men, money is more of a scorecard. There is something tied to like a guy's worth of saying, oh my gosh, this is what I'm bringing in. This is where we are financially. Like there's something tied with a guy, even different than a woman. It's like this identity piece. And I think whether it's been taught to you, like what John was saying, or whatever it is, but like regardless of who you are, your net worth is not your self-worth. Who Chase is, the kind of husband you are, the kind of dad you might be or will be in the future, like who you are, Chase, and loving your family and serving them and doing what's best, because what's best right now is exactly what you're doing, of saying, hey, we've done this for a year and it's not working. I got to go find another job. And it's not to fulfill some role around that. It's just to be able to say, yeah, common sense is telling us like I could be making more money right now. And and we're going to decide that as a family. So
what's this passion job, brother?
It's graphic design.
So number one, we're hiring. So if you want to submit your application for graphic designers here,
go to RamseySolutions.com.
Go to Ramsey Solutions. Yeah, that's exactly right. But two, that sounds like one of those jobs that you can do just absolutely knock out of the park. You can even work from home in certain situations. You can do a great job, continue to keep your practice on the side. And I don't see this dream as being dead at all. I see it being as not right now, or I've got to get some more skills under my belt, or I've got to learn the business side of this thing. And so working for an agency or a company is going to be a way I get a grasp on the business side of this stuff. Like it just tells me that at 26, you got a lot to learn. And by the time you're 36, dude, it's lights out.
That's a game changer.
So this thing isn't over, my brother. Not even a little bit.
Are you guys working the baby steps, Chase, you and your wife, for y'all trying to pay off debt? Where are you guys at financially?
Yes, we're on baby step 2. We have about $30,000 in student loans right now, and that's it.
Okay, great. How much have you guys paid off so far?
We paid off about 10.
Nice, awesome. Well, good. Well, you're on the track, which is awesome.
So do this. It's going to sound cheesy what I'm going to tell you, but I want you to do it anyway. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I want you and your wife to hold a tiny little funeral service for this passion dream that you had. I like it. I'm going to launch, but here's why. It might be silly, but I want y'all to go all in on it. Go all in. And invite friends if you've got them that would be a part, but kind of on the inside joke of this whole thing, but also not really a joke. Here's what it's going to give you. It's going to give you and your wife a marker. This is when we as a family shifted, we closed this door and we began opening other doors. And that's a powerful moment. Otherwise, it just kind of lingers and you take your new job, but you're still kind of checking your other work email to see if clients come in, and you never fully go from one place to the other. You just kind of get, bleh, you're everywhere. So have a funeral for it. Say, we are done and we are now making this transition. And then take your wife out to breakfast. And I know we tell you in baby step 2, don't do that, but you're making a major life transition. Take your wife out to breakfast. Actually, don't want to kick you while you're down, but she'll be taking you out to breakfast. And gosh. I know that wasn't cool, but it's true. She can take you out to breakfast, and I want y'all to sit at the table and then dream together. Okay, what's our sprint through this last $30,000? We're going to take 2 jobs, 3 jobs. We're going to get this thing knocked out. You're going to stand tall. You're going to walk tall. You're not going to dump the anger and shame onto her. And you're ready for this whole new transition. Stay on the line. We're going to get you Ken Coleman's Get Clear Assessment. I'm going to give it to you as our gift, and it will broaden your horizons and what you can do with your graphic design dreams.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. So our question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. With 19 service brands nationwide, you can find reliable help from great locally owned businesses like AirServe, Mr. Appliance, and Mr. Handyman. Visit neighborly.com today for help with just about anything you need for your home.
All right, today's question comes from Jonathan in Ohio. My fiance and I have completed the first 4 baby steps, and I have a question for you about number 5 and number 6. I'm currently investing our extra money into mutual funds, and once the balance is above the principal balance of our home, I plan to pay off the house. Why are you doing that? The current projection is the end of 2027. However, we're about to get married, and we plan to have kids in the near future. Should we be working on step 5 now or waiting until we have our first child to start saving for our kids' college? I feel like we're out of sync because we skipped baby step 5. I've been watching your show for about 6 months. It's changed my financial mindset. Thank you. All right, Jonathan. Jonathan does a lot of things out of order. That's cool. Hey, I do too, man. It's all, I get it. I totally get it, but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're skipping baby step 5. You can't save in a college fund for someone that doesn't exist yet. So yes, you will be skipping that. I would go ahead and be putting this extra money you have in a mutual fund that's dedicated to pay off the home. Go ahead and put that on the principal.
Stop giving the bank. Stop giving them vacation homes to their executives and their shareholders by paying interest. Just stop. Pay the bank.
Put all that away and put that into the house. And make sure you guys, if you're getting married, that you have money. I mean, you're on baby steps 4, 5, and 6. So make sure you have money for a great wedding, a honeymoon, be planning for that because there's expenses coming down the road for all of that.
And here's the hard truth about this question. And I'll just speak from my personal experience. My wife and I planned our life out. And we were both going to go to grad school. We got out of grad school. Then we were going to start a family. And we were like, time to start a family.
Yep.
And then year 1 went by. Then year 2 went by. Then doctor's visits. Then year 3. So I tell you that just from personal experience that don't put the cart before the horse on this one. When you have kids, then you can start an emergency fund. I mean, you can start a savings fund. That's great. I'd love to see you hammer through and just pay your house off. You're pretty dang close. Pay your house off, man. And as y'all roll into, after y'all get married, just pay your debts off, pay your house off. But don't start making savings accounts for babies that aren't there yet.
Yep.
It's not wise.
Nope. All right. We're going to go to the phones. Again, it's a free call at 888-825-5225. John and I will be chatting about every part of your life. So next up we have Jose in Montecito, California. Hey, Jose. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. How can we help?
So, kind of got myself into a little bit of a predicament here. I have a truck still. It's an older vehicle that I've been using to commute back and forth from work. vehicle. However, I was getting tired of paying so much in gas, because in California, gas is pretty expensive over here. So I went and purchased a smaller vehicle, more economic, which was great. But I didn't really pay attention too much to the interest rate afterwards.
Ouch.
The vehicle cost out the door was $19,000.
Okay.
But afterwards, when I looked at the paperwork, I have a 28% interest.
Whoa, Migo, what are you?
Oh no, Jose. Oh my gosh.
They took you to the cleaners. How much did you owe on that truck? Dude,
That's a depreciating asset right
What'd you
there.
do with the truck? Do you still have it?
I still have the truck. The truck
Okay.
is worth about $6,000.
Okay, so Jose, what you're going to do is I would get out of this loan ASAP. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is take a smaller loan, a $2,000 loan for the difference to get out of the car because you're upside down on it. And I would rather you owe $2,000 with a loan from the bank, not at 28%.
Go to a credit union, man.
Then have a car that's continuing to depreciate the more you drive it. And it's this, I mean, it's astronomical interest rate. So stupid. So I would get out of that today, Jose. I really would. And you'll get a loan for $2,000 and I would drive your paid off truck and not have payments and start tackling this $2,000. I'd rather you owe $2,000 than $28,000.
And we say this
or
with
19 grand.
we say this with love, but we're kind of clowning a little bit. But basically, you're going to end up with about a $2,000 stupid tax. Okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And then you're going to be like, next time somebody's like, "Hey, I got this good idea," you're going to go, "No way, man. I remember that." By the way, if the trade-in value was $17,000 at this scam artist that sold you this car,
that's a great point.
I bet you could sell it for $20,000 private sale and net a grand on it.
Yes, that's a great point, Jose. Yeah, don't go back to them. See if you can private sell it.
I would put this on Facebook Marketplace tonight and see what you and put it for $21,000 and see what you get for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Is it a brand new car? Is it brand new?
It's a 2022 Chevy Spark.
Okay. Yep. I would. That's
Actually,
a great
I put it
call.
at 22, and someone's going to give you 20, thinking they're getting a deal, and they'll just say, "How about just 20?" And then you go, okay, and then you're going to make $1,000, and you're going to have $1,000 for all your indigestion, and probably a little bit of preparation H, and then you're all done, and you're never going to do this again, right?
That's right.
Yeah. No. Lesson learned.
Okay, but
and it wasn't until. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that last piece of advice that John said is so true that I'm like, this could make or break that $2,000 loan or not actually coming out ahead. So remember, you're always going to get a better deal most of the time through a private sale. When you go to a dealership, not as good. And especially if you're going back to the people that sold it to you and you're like, please take it back. They're like, we will for 17 because they know in their head.
Punks, man. Punks.
Yeah.
Hey, have you been through Financial Peace, brother?
I actually just signed up to it. I start on the 6th.
Awesome. Good.
Most excellent. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a free copy of Total Money Makeover, and I want you to have that as your gift from us, and I want you to read that book as you're entering into this class. It's going to be a great primer as you launch into this class. Good for you, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely,
you got
Jose.
it, man. I like you, Jose.
Thanks so
me and
much.
you would be friends. I'm confident of it.
And you know what, John? I think so much of all of this idea of winning with money, looking at your life, making different decisions, there's a level of humility that you have to be like, oh, that was a stupid decision.
Go with the whoopsie-do on
Like,
that
I feel like we've had some callers call in and we'll get off the call and we'll say to each other, yeah, they're probably not going to take our advice because you can just feel it from them that they're like, no, I got my thing. I'm going to do my thing. And they keep running down that same track that we're like, warning, don't do it. So there takes a level of continuing to learn and to believe that like, okay, not everything I thought was correct is correct. Like I need to learn something new and maybe the decisions I've made with my money are stupid and not good. So I need to make different decisions, right? Like there's a basic human element there that's really key to change your behavior.
So there's two things, and I'll keep them private here between me and my counselor, but there's two things that have a struggle with for decades, for years.
Yeah.
And yesterday in my counseling session, my counselor's the greatest, my therapist's the greatest. She's incredible. But she said, how long? And I said, what do you mean? She said, how long are you going to keep working this plan that has never worked? At what point, and she used the word that I hate with all my guts, at what point are you going to submit to another way of looking at this problem?
Yeah.
And that was the most honest, true thing I could have been told. The way I'm doing this isn't working. So we talked to a caller earlier that him and his buddy, they created a company and they built a house, and now they're having to float the note out of their private bank accounts, interest only, because they have a scheme and thing, and those dudes can't breathe. And it's like, okay, you tried it. You got crypto, it's not working. Will you be interested in trying something else?
Yep.
Just a totally different way of doing life.
And that's Jose's. That's why I pointed all that out, because I'm like, he came with such like
humility.
This humility of like, oh man, I screwed up. So
you
guys, sometimes it's just that admitting I messed up. It's my fault, as Taylor Swift would say. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. We'll be back.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate, plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I am Rachel Cruz with Dr. John Deloney taking your calls. But John, you know what's crazy is that the job market, the economy, all of that, it's kind of in a bit of a funk right now. And when that happens, a lot of people are looking for jobs and new opportunities in other states. They're looking to move, but that can be really intimidating. It can be exciting. You know, there's a lot of emotions around that, but you can also take a lot of the uncertainty out of the equation when you partner with someone who's a local expert in your new area. So someone that's going to show you the best neighborhoods, the best schools, everything around the city that you're looking to move to. Have someone who is there, who is really good at what they do. And what I mean by that is a really good real estate agent. Again, not all agents are going to do this, but to find somebody that really has their foot in the market, they know what's going on, and they're able to help guide you. So if you want an agent who will do all of that, then connect with a Ramsey trusted real estate agent. These are local experts who go above and beyond to serve you, so you can trust them to guide you throughout every step of your relocation. We can connect you with the Ramsey trusted agents all over the country who are ready to help you buy, sell, and hit the ground running in your new home. So to find the best agents in your area, go to RamseySolutions.com/local agents. That's RamseySolutions.com/local agents. All right, up next we have Bernard in Detroit, Michigan. Hey, Bernard, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me on. How are you today?
Absolutely. Glad you're here. How can we help?
Well, I just had a quick question regarding I always listen to the show, and you guys say, like, your mortgage should be 25% of your take-home pay on a 15-year fixed. Should that 25% does that include taxes and insurance?
Yes.
Yes, it does. HOA fees, anything and everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that was the question I had. I have a home now, but thinking about like moving in the future, we just wanted to make sure I was like setting myself up for success for that move.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's a great question. And I always tell people, you know, that it's a conservative percentage that we say, and a lot of people get mad at us because of this formula. But what we found is that when your home is not an overwhelming part of your budget, you actually have margin to do other things. You have margin, whether it's paying off debt, saving, actually living life, enjoying life, spending, giving. Like, there's all this other stuff that you want your money to do. versus going all to the mortgage. So it really allows you to have some margin in your budget. So that 25% really allows, what we believe your home to be a blessing, not a curse.
And that there's two levers you can pull there. One is you can have a massive down payment and get more house, right? And then the other is you can make more money. And that just depends. That sounds like the either or, right? But you can have a great salary and just put down 10% or 20% and then do the 25% there, or you can put down 50% on a house, and that's going to really drastically reduce what your total is going to be, your percentage every month.
That makes sense. So what would you guys suggest if, because I know like you want to put additional money towards the house, but if I want to move, say in like 3 or 4 years, should I still be putting additional cash towards the house, or?
Yeah, I would, because what you're doing is just building an equity. So when you sell the house, you're going to recoup that money. And what we find too is that sometimes when people have money that they're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to, instead of paying down the house, I'm going to save for a newer house, in 2 to 3 years. We find that life happens, and sometimes a vacation comes up, and it's like, well, we can kind of pull out of that account, or something else occurs, and you're like, I can take it out of here. When you lock it into your home and you're paying down your mortgage, you're getting equity, and it's doing what that extra money should be doing.
And in my life, if I go back 5 years, that is 3 jobs and 2 states ago. And none of that was on the none of this is on the radar.
That's a good point. How much life changes in just those?
Dude, in 4 to 5 years, man, everything's going to be changing. You're talking about we're going to have a new presidential election. We're going to have new surprising findings. There's UFOs everywhere. You never know what's going to happen, man. So I would keep your foot on the gas, doing the right thing in front of you. And when you sell your house, you'll get that money back out.
Is that good, Bernard? Sound good?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I
Awesome.
appreciate you having me on.
Yep.
Yeah, you bet, brother.
Absolutely. Up next, we have George in Austin, Texas. Hey, George. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, Dr. John. Good afternoon.
What's
Good
up, man?
afternoon. How can we help?
So I, by your words, I would be in baby step 2, but I kind of don't know what to do next. So I recently paid off my car. Had I found you guys a year and a half ago, this would have been a much easier decision. But I recently paid off my car in about February.
Awesome.
It was way overpriced. It took me 5 out of the 6 years it was supposed to take me at $600 a month. I'm not happy about it.
Ouch.
But I'm currently looking at $7,000 left in student loans and $3,000 left in a personal loan.
Okay.
I've been paying my student loans throughout the entire pandemic, but I'm realizing that in September, once that interest hits, I'm going to have to probably start paying the interest on that as well. And I'm thinking, is it a smart idea to sell my car that I just paid off? It's a 2017. Right now, I'm looking at the KBB private value is at $22,000. So I could sell this car, get completely debt free right now, and then use the extra money for a little beater for a while, which will be fine, and I can just breathe easy knowing that I don't have debt. But I just don't know if that's just a drastic decision to make, just because I've been listening to you guys for a month now, and I'm just like, oh my God, I should just do this now, or like, hey, calm down.
How much money do you make annually?
When I bought the car, I didn't make enough, but now I make 70. I've made 70 for the past couple of years.
And how much do you owe on student loans?
I have exactly $7,000 left.
So you'll have $12,000. If you sell this car for $22,000, you have $10,000 total of debt, personal loans, student loans. So you'll have $12,000 left to buy a car. I would, George.
Yep.
George, I would do this weekend.
I would do it. Because it's just a car.
I almost did it.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's just a car. Like, it's not a house. Like, sometimes we slow people down. We're like, should I sell this house to get out of debt? All this. We're like, well, there's moving. Like, there's so much logistics around buying a home and moving and all that. A car is like, burp, burp, we can just,
and let's also say this.
Switch it up.
This car, you've got a negative relationship with this car, don't you?
No, I mean, I love my car.
Let me say it like this.
I hate my negative relationship with my car now is based solely on the fact that I've been listening to Rachel's show and George's show, and I found the Money Guys, and I found you, and I found all this stuff in the last month. And I'm like, oh my God, what I've been doing with my money for the last however long is ridiculous.
It's like you've been dating somebody and she was kind of awesome, and then an ex-boyfriend came up and was like, you want to know something? And you're like, no, but you found out, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, if I'm you, I would sell that car this weekend.
I just want to make sure I'm making the right decision.
Yeah, I think it's great, George, because it's a car. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you can get a new one. You can come back to this type of car later. Like, again, switching that stuff it's pretty easy.
And can I say this? Dude, I cannot tell you, George. You are in the 1% of the 1%. Nobody kept paying their student loans with when there was an interest pause for 3 years.
So well done.
You are a hero. And here's the deal. Come September, when everyone's like, we don't know what's happening, you're going to go, yeah, I don't care.
I'm debt-free. And I'm debt-free.
You have no worries.
So keep that momentum going, George.
I don't want to take too much credit. I will be honest. I was dumb with that initial check, but...
It's fine, George. You're
fine.
Quickly. And George, I would say this too. If you're doing the baby steps, you'll have that $12,000 left. And I kind of flippantly just say, go get a $12,000 car. Even get a $6,000 car and take that another $6,000 for an emergency fund if you don't have savings. You know, like you can use all of this to really fast forward this process for you so you can actually start investing and building wealth and doing the stuff in freedom.
You know what I might do, Rachel? I might take $1,000 and just Uber for the next 2 months and buy a $25,000 car for $10,000 off somebody who hasn't paid their student loans and is not prepared for that repayment to kick up. Get it, George.
Sell it, George.
Congrats.
You're awesome. Thanks for calling. We'll be back. Well, John, America's birthday.
Well, Rachel.
It's coming up. The old 4th of July. You guys big 4th of July people at the Zoloni house?
Yeah.
We all live in the middle of nowhere, so you're like, you just shoot by you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of 4th of July all the time at our house.
Just we're shooting fireworks all the time.
I like it good. We're going camping and we're having a fire like always.
Yep,
yeah.
So good. All right, so here's what's crazy is how much Americans will spend on specifically fireworks for this wonderful holiday. So according...
Or as my granddad said, just lighting your money on fire.
Just lighting that money on fire. So American consumers bought, are you ready for this? 260.7 million pounds of fireworks in 2015.
That's so many bombs.
In 2015. And it was the most of any year between 2000 and 2019. But the pandemic changed everything. So in the 21st century, consumer fireworks revenue slowly and steadily ticked up from about 407 million in 2000 to 1 billion in 2019. And then in 2021, $2.2 billion in fireworks.
That's just a bunch of people sitting at home so angry at their YouTube accounts and listening to like angry podcasts. They're like, we're just going to blow crap up.
We're just going to blow everything up.
We're going to blow it up.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
So here's the math on $2.2 billion. If you spent $1,000 a day, it would take you 2,740 years before you ran out of money. Or if you had $1 billion and were told to spend it in a single year, you'd have to spend a minimum of $2.7 million a day to reach zero by the end of the year.
It's insane.
This is so much money.
I'm so ignorant, though, to fire. Like, I don't even know. We have fireworks at a park right by our house, so we just go up in this hill in our neighborhood. sit in someone's front yard and we watch it. And so like we don't do a ton of fireworks because we're like in the city limit, or I don't know, like it's illegal.
Kind of yuppied out. Yeah,
It's whatever. So I don't even know how. I mean, do they cost a lot? Like how much would they? Yeah, so give me like the kind that go up and it's purple and it like all rains down.
So like a 10 to 20 minute show is it can be between $2,000 and $7,000 depending on zoning. If you're doing it in New York or downtown LA, I'm sure it's $1 million more.
Okay.
This calls them fireworks pyro musicals.
What is that?
That's. Listen, if
is
somebody,
that where they like do the music with it, or is this like a whole other thing?
I honestly have never heard the phrase fireworks pyro musical.
Rachel, that's like when they do
the music to
the
it.
shows at like Disney World or
and
big 4th of July county fairs
with the
and
music.
things like that.
So it's like bum bum, and then it's like bum bum.
Did you say in sync on purpose? It's like NSYNC does a routine to a fireworks show.
It's in sync.
I want it that way. And then firework pyro musicals cost $1,000 to $2,000 a minute.
Good. Wait, say that again.
$1,000 to $2,000 a minute.
Holy crap.
Exactly. So anyway. It's a lot. That's all I'll say.
It's a lot of money. No, but how much do you know, John? How much, like, if I went to like a fireworks stand on the side of the road and you bought one of those?
I mean, you could spend a couple $100 without even.
No, but
blinking.
like, what's one? One would cost $100.
Well,
like
they're always like buy one get 14 free. So, but yeah, if you went to buy just one of the one that went, yeah, it can be up to $20. Yeah, it can be up to $20.
Oh, $20?
Yeah. And then some of these fountains, like Roman candles, novelties, like this, 200 to 500 gram cake, repeaters, Roman candles, novelties.
The
like
fountains.
A package like that could be $600.
Well, yes, $629.99. Okay, so
you can go spend some money.
Yeah.
And you can't be it's kind of like Christmas, like Cousin Eddie. Like, you can't be the chump house that's got lame fireworks if you're allowed to do that in your community. You got to go all out.
You gotta like have the good stuff.
If you buy fireworks on a credit card, you can never listen to the show again. You're banned from listening to the show. You're off. Don't light borrowed money on fire in your front yard. Just light regular money on fire.
Just money you have. You have. Oh, God bless the USA. All right, up next we have Matthew in Tucson, Arizona. Matthew, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for taking my call. I'm actually going to read my message if I'm a little nervous, if that's okay.
Sure.
You got it, man.
Do what you got to do.
All right. So I'm 28, and I'm in the midst of a really challenging divorce. Before we got married, my wife brought about $30,000 into the marriage. Meanwhile, I was carrying about $40,000 of debt. We're now debt-free. As I work through this heartbreak, my concern is her long-term financial stability, and I'm contemplating giving her above the 50-50 requirement that the law requires and giving her money back to her. Is that a wise decision, or does that set me up for undue financial hardship in the long run?
When you say you're worried about her long-term economic viability, what does that mean? Here's what it sounds like. It sounds like she did something and filed on you, and you're still worried about her, or did you do something and she filed on you?
I had some moral challenges, and she has filed on me.
Okay. So are you doing this as a way to kind of buy your way back into her good graces, or to prove to you, like, I'm a good guy?
I don't know. I wasn't planning on telling her I was doing this. I was just going to do it in the end.
I've had friends that have just, when they head to the table, they put 55% down on the table. I've had friends do that. And it's less about because of this future thing. It was more to, I want to go above and beyond so that this is an easy process and we don't go to war. If you're already in the middle of the war, you have to know that she made some choices, some values-based choices, that she's not going to be in a relationship, in a covenant relationship with somebody who did whatever it is you did. And so she chose to leave. And I'll applaud her for holding firm and true to her values. But anytime we do that, it comes with consequences as well. And you can't buy your way out of that. If you want to help end this thing, and putting another 5% on the table or whatever would help end this thing, I'm all for ending the war. I hate how these things drag out. It just breaks my heart. But I don't think you can buy your way back into. I'm not such a bad guy. I'm a pretty good guy. I don't try to buy your guilt.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Does she? How is she when it comes to money, Matthew? Is there any part of you that's caretaking her in the sense of like, gosh, she may not be as fiscally responsible, so I'm a little worried. I want to make sure she's okay. Like, is there any of that, or does she have a lot of discipline around money?
She's very disciplined around money. She's
so
very
it really
frugal.
is.
Yeah, she's very disciplined.
Okay.
It sounds like you feel like sick to your stomach, and you probably still really love and care about this woman, and this relationship's over, and there's just that grief, and it's so hard to sit in grief, and so our bodies tell us to do something, and this is a way that you can manufacture action, if you will, and I would tell you that it probably is not going to do anything other than frustrate you in the long run, unless it does facilitate ending this contentious divorce and just wrapping it up. If it was me personally, I would put extra money on the table to end the transaction.
How long has it been going on, Matthew?
We've been separated for 8 months, and I got served papers last Wednesday.
Ugh.
Oh wow!
So you're just getting going, huh?
Oh, Matthew, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty raw.
Yeah. In the service of the papers, did it have an offer in it?
From reading it with my lawyer, everything is 50-50, is at least what she's asking for right now.
Man, I wouldn't borrow any money, but if I'm you and I'm in that situation, I probably would put a little bit over. I don't have a rhyme or reason why. I don't have like some principle that I live by or something other than once somebody files for divorce, the relationship is over, and we are now in a business transaction. And anytime I do business deals, I always want to be extra generous. And I do that with the lawn guy, I do that with tipping at a taco stand. I do that just with every transaction I try to engage in. And so that's probably how I would do that. Yeah. But again,
sorry, Matthew.
You hired a lawyer too. Yeah, I hate that for you.
Thanks for calling.
You can't buy your guilt.
Yep. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks to all the guys and Emily in the booth to make this show work. Thank you, John, for a great hour. And thank you, America. We'll be back.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create actual amazing relationships. I am Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, hosting this hour with Dr. John Deloney, and we're taking your calls. It's a free call anywhere in the country at 888-825-5225. So we're talking about, again, your careers, your relationships, your money. What?
Just the way you introduce the show, it's like you're trying to remember what my name is. I am co-hosting with...
Called you Josh last time we co-hosted.
That is true. You did call me Josh.
Called you by the wrong name. So I do have to remember your name, John Deloney.
That's fair.
With Dr. John Deloney.
And I'm here with Rebecca Cruz, and we are taking your calls on life and money.
I was Rhonda earlier.
We're excited to have you.
Glad you're here, America. All right. First up, we have Heather in Birmingham. Hey, Heather. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Rachel and John. How's it going?
Partying. We are
doing
partying.
Great. How are you?
Love it. I'm doing great. So my husband and I were both 33 years old. We're having a little disagreement on how much to spend on our next house purchase / house and renovation. And I guess a little bit about us. We have $625,000 in cash, and we make a little under $300,000 a year. We have 2 small children, and basically the disagreement is we started off saying we want to pay cash, but where we are in Birmingham, these little 1,500 square foot tiny homes are going for like over $400 a square foot, which I'm sure y'all have seen that in Nashville a bunch. And my thought is, why don't we get, a 15-year fixed mortgage paid off in 2-3 years, whatever it is, and be able to buy a little bit more to last us maybe 10 years instead of 5 years, whatever that may look like. And I feel like I've gotten him on board to get a mortgage, but he wants to pay it off in 1 year. And I feel like the big picture of this is all silly, and there's probably people listening to this laughing at our question. But
no,
not even a little bit.
More direction from you guys of like how we should approach this, because it's so different. Because keeping a mortgage for 15 years is just not even on the table.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say your situation is better than most people who call the show. Most people don't have $600,000 in cash plus more than $250,000 a year income, right? So, but the challenge y'all are experiencing is universal. You want this, he wants that, and it comes down to negotiating or navigating those waters. And so that's universal, man. So nobody's rolling their eyes at you, or if they are, it's because they're jealous. Right? Yeah. So,
and I don't think, and Heather, I would encourage you guys. You're not too far off.
You're really close.
At this point, it's basically like, do we pay it off in a year or 2 years? And you could just split it down the middle and say you're half, or you just pause and wait a year, save up cash, and pay cash for it.
So when he says I want to pay it off in a year, I'll do a mortgage, but we're paying it off in a year. What's the difference in house between 1 year payoff and a 3-year payoff?
Well, I personally think we probably need something to get us to be in a house that's going to last us at that 10-year mark. I kind of think we need something more like we can pay it off in maybe 3 years, like talk about like $100,000 a year. Because he talks about wanting to be gazelle intense about it, but I'm like, I don't feel like we need to be, and nor is that y'all's teachings either.
It's not, but I'll also tell you, I come from a history of financial insecurity. And so whenever we got a mortgage, we didn't go gazelle intense, but my wife and I did go faster than I would normally recommend to another family. And so there is something important about sitting down and getting to not spitting and throwing spitwads at each other over 1 year, 3 years, 3 years, 1 year, but listening to him if he says, hey, I won't sleep for 36 months knowing that one thing goes wrong at my job and my family, we can't make this mortgage payment. And so there's something about that inner terror, that inner fear that I know, that I live with. And you, on the other hand, are saying, I don't want to be doing this again in 3 years or 5 years when the kids get bigger and a partridge in a pear tree, right? So I think it's listening to each other and then being really honest about, okay, this is the house that we can pay off in 1 year. If we go gazelle intense, we pay it off in 1 year. This is the house we can afford. Here's what it looks like. Here's the neighborhood it's in. If we pay it off in 3 years, here's the neighborhood that it's in. Here's the house that it's in. And let's just use real pictures and real numbers and real data. That way it takes it less out of the ethereal realm. But I do want you to have a heart-to-heart conversation about how y'all respond to the anxiety of owing somebody money, because it sounds like this is entrenched in his, like, this was a goal, you got it, and now it's like, let's buy another house and get another mortgage. And that's just hard to, it's tough to swallow. You know what I mean?
Heather, what's making you guys move? Where are you now?
Well, we're currently in Birmingham in a rental house, and we moved. We were in Atlanta for almost a decade, and then we moved to Knoxville, and then now we're in Birmingham, and it was for a job relocation, which that's the other part of this is, his income almost doubled through this move. So that's the other part of the equation we haven't really seen before. Yeah, that much income.
So I would tell you that we intentionally compressed what the house we bought, because the temptation is not to let your standard of living rise with every new raise you get. And it continues to float and float and float. Now, make no mistake, you guys are so far ahead of the curve, you can do whatever you want. 3 years, 1 year, 5 years, you can do whatever you want. But there is something to be said for having a little bit of discipline in this moment when your life has drastically changed. And there's nothing in the history you just told me that suggests y'all will even be here 10 years.
Yeah, is there a chance of another relocation, Heather?
Not that I can foresee, because it wasn't so much a relocation with the same company. It was just a really great job opportunity with a totally different company.
Oh, okay. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think what John said is important, Heather. I would really, so get below the problem, right? Get below the 1 year, the 3 year, but like what's going on in him? What's driving his motivation to get this paid off quickly? And as a wife, like listen to that, consider that. I would say on your end too, still speaking into the situation on what you see, and that, you know, that fear can sometimes take over so much that he may not even be able to see his way through. And your logic, because you don't have that, you're able to actually pull the numbers and say, hey, look, we could actually probably pay this off in 2 years and 4 months. And, you know, like you'll have possibly a level of logic that he may not be able to get to because of his fear. So like you guys working as a team, right? So coming together in it. And some people hate the word compromise in marriage, but I just feel like sometimes it's what it is. And it's like, all right, let's meet in the middle, like together, let's do this. But I would also encourage you guys, don't feel like you have to rush and buy something. Renting is not bad. So even if you guys stay put for another year, you guys have been in 3 cities, really like you didn't even get a raise, put that cash away, and that may open up more opportunities in the future. So thanks again for calling, Heather. Appreciate it. And we'll be back.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 40% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
Well, the stock market has been all over the place lately. It's gone up, it's gone down, back up again, back down again. And if you're freaking out, can I just tell you, don't. The market dips, but it doesn't mean that you're going to retire broke, okay? So you have to keep a long-term perspective when it comes to investing. So if you just look at the facts, if you invest $100 a month from age 25 to age 65, you could have around $1 million at retirement. So it's not that it's just too good to be true. This is based on a long-term average of the return on the S&P 500. And a huge predictor of investing success is not only the rate of return, but that you actually invest and you keep investing consistently. So no matter how old you are, no matter how much you're investing intimidates you, this whole idea of investing, you can invest with confidence right now. And when you get a pro in your corner, they will be able to help you with all of this stuff. So you can connect to a SmartVestor Pro. They eat, sleep, and breathe investments. This is like their entire world. And they'll take the time to work with you and make sure that you understand what you're investing in, which is a really key part of investing, you guys. Do not put your money in something you don't understand. And SmartVestor Pros are able to walk with you and teach you. So go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor to find a SmartVestor Pro today. That's RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.
Hey, and I think it's important to call out on these. Sometimes these ads sound like we're just trying to sell stuff, right? Dave uses a SmartVestor Pro. The Cruzes use a SmartVestor Pro. The Delonys use a SmartVestor Pro. These are professionals that we use in our own homes to manage our family's legacy and our money. So this isn't just like a thing that we throw out there. This is what we all trust our lives and our money to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, having people, whenever it comes to any type of money, I say this a lot, but it's just true. When there are niche parts of money that can feel like, oh my gosh, it's like this whole other set of skills and knowledge and terms and words and all of it, so whether it's real estate or taxes or investing or insurance, like there's all these little buckets. We have people, you guys, that we recommend because, again, there's such these niche parts and we want you to learn and understand it. But having someone that does this day in and day out to guide you and teach you, like, it's worth it. It is so worth it. So, again, go to RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor. Right up next, we have Borche in Portland, Oregon. Hey, Borche, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Yeah, so I was calling in because I had a question for you guys. I'm 32 years old, self-employed, and I have an ambition to retire in 10 to 12 years. For the last couple of years, I've been investing pretty aggressively, $10,000 to $12,000 a month. My portfolio is roughly around $300,000, just a little bit over. I don't have any debt. I have about $90,000 in cash, and the only debt that I do have is a house payment. So I do have a college fund set up for my child as well. I have another kid that's due here in a couple of months, so we're going to bump that up a little bit. And my question was, should I start putting more money towards our house to pay it off sooner, or should I continue to invest that $10,000 to $12,000 a month in hopes of obviously being done in about 10 or 12 years?
What's the panic? To is it part of the FIRE movement or the great Mr. Money Mustache? Like what's this impetus to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's just a couple years ago, I just had a goal set in mind. I've always been a pretty competitive person. And I just kind of set my mind on being able to set aside, $10,000 towards my investment portfolio. So it's more of just a goal that I personally have. I mean, I love what I do. I don't see myself stopping. However, I do just, want to get to a point where I don't have to worry about, how my business is doing and, have that peace of mind, I guess. So I'd rather kind of put in the work right now and get it done as quick as possible.
How much are you making a year?
Get to that goal. I'm about 350 gross and about 200 net.
Okay. Well, we talk about investing about 15% of your income into retirement. So that's going to be, you're investing a lot.
Yeah, you're way ahead.
Basically like 3 months worth.
How much do you own your house?
We own about 350 on our house. It's currently worth just over 600,000. I mean, we definitely live well below our means. I guess the only debt that I do have is I lease my car under my business. It's $450 a month, but that's about it.
So, do you see? Would you borrow, take a HELOC out on that $300,000 and put that in as a part of your retirement scheme?
Yeah, I've definitely considered it.
No, I was trying to tell you that's a dumb thing to do. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, maybe, John.
Here's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah.
You've got money sitting in an account over here on the roller coaster, but you have this steady drumbeat that you are making some mortgage company executive very, very wealthy by paying them every month. And you're so over investing at this stage. Mm-hmm. You do have an incredible goal. Dude, I'm all about that goal. It's awesome. But you are over-investing while you still have this massive liability over here. Even if you say, yeah, but that one's at 2.9 or 2.4, and this one's going to be, I'm going to make this much. I get all the math part. I'm trying to give your little child and the new one coming. What you said something that was so important. I just don't want to worry about this. Another word for that is peace. And when you have a house that is ours that nobody could take away from, Portland can probably figure out a way to take it from you, but that most states that can't take it from you, dude, there's a whole other level of safety and security and peace in your home that you don't even know yet, even though you got all this money over here, right?
So Borche, I would
pay my house off.
Yep, for sure. I would pull back on the investing. I really appreciate all the aggressiveness. It's like 120 $20K a year that you're investing, and it needs to be more just like a $25K, you know? So I would pull back and throw some of that extra. I really would, because you're going to be fine. Like, I understand, again, you want to retire, but you're 33. You're okay. And what John is saying is so correct. Like, when you have autonomy over every part of your life, it's incredible. It absolutely is incredible. And so not having a mortgage, not owing anyone anything, there's no risk. So even if the business did, you know, have a bad few months or something, you don't have any bills when your house is paid for. You don't have a mortgage. So I would pull back on investing. I would still invest. I would invest 15% of your income into retirement, is what we say, of your take-home pay. So that $200,000 is what you're going to be looking at after, because I would love for you to do like a Roth IRA, which is after-tax dollars. I mean, so looking into 401k, Roth IRA, well, you're self-employed, so it may be a SEP. Yep. But I would... invest still, but pull way back and throw that extra at the mortgage.
Can I throw one thing at you real quick?
Yeah, of course.
All right. This is from the great Esther Perel, and I'm taking her analogy and I'm using it somewhere in a different context, okay? But here's the basis of her. Here's what she says. You could never go sweep up all of the glass and steel and twisted metal on September 12th of the towers when they fell, and rebuild those towers using that original stuff. The towers fell, and you have two options when they fell. Just leave them alone, let nature take them back over the next couple of 100 or 1,000 years, or get some professionals, excavate the whole thing, get an architect, build something that is a monument to what was, and something that may be stronger and even arguably more beautiful moving forward to the future. And we're going to build with our eyes moving forward. Here's where I want you to take that analogy into your own life. As a single guy or a newlywed, you had some ambitious goals, and you have come hell or high water, you've been getting these things done in an incredible fashion. If you were here, I would hug you out of solidarity. I think you're amazing. And then you had a kid. And now you have another kid coming. And so the life that was is now over. I want you to consider it's fallen down. And you can't say, okay, but I'm going to keep this thing going even though I got a kid here and another kid here. What I want you and your wife to do is I want y'all to set some time aside, and I want y'all to create goals that might be somewhat similar, but goals for this next phase, because you've never been a couple with two kids and you've never had financial goals and two kids. And I want you to reevaluate where you're going and how fast you're going to get there in light of everything is different now. And this can be one of the most fun and beautiful adventures for a couple to undertake if you have the right spirit. So reimagine what life's going to look like with this new one. You make a whole bunch of money. You're in great shape.
Standing on the debt-free stage, we have Steve and Laura. You guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you're standing up there for one reason.
Yeah. A really big reason.
A big reason. You guys are debt-free. Where are you guys from?
Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Awesome. So great, you guys. Okay, so how much debt have you paid off?
Had to write this down and had to actually recalculate it a bit, but $265,901.72.
Whoa!
Okay, so what kind of debt was it?
So it was 14 credit cards. Paid
14.
Yeah, 14. A lot of stuff happened in there. I purchased a used car to get it out of a over mileage car fleece.
Okay.
A camper loan, broken HVAC, another car replacement, student loans, and our mortgage.
Oh, the mortgage. That's what I was looking for. Oh, you guys. So you were normal. Okay. So,
I don't know. They pushed the bounds of normal.
How long did it take you guys on this journey?
It took us 49 months.
49 months. Okay. And how much were you making during that time?
We started off at about $124,000,
okay.
And then with all the extra work, we pulled in about $150,000 for the past 2 years.
Wonderful, you guys. Oh my gosh, how does it feel?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, just, when I hear you talk about freedom and peace, I heard it for years, and we read it in the books, but like to feel it is it's just life-changing.
Incredible. Okay, so what happened 49 months ago to start you guys on this journey?
Well, actually somewhat started before that. Basically, I gave my wife a promise when we got married that I'd give her, security as well as financial stability, and I failed on the financial stability part. A lot of it comes from a little bit of my history. Didn't grow up very wealthy, or a little bit less income than normal, but we made things work as much as possible. But the moment, went to college, got financial aid, had those extra checks that came in, and hey, there's extra money, might as well start, using it. So I started using that, and then got a job. Of course, I worked for Best Buy, got a job, loved electronics. My paycheck went back to Best Buy. So it just started accumulating over and over and over. And a lot of it, I'd say, came down to me just because I wanted everything.
Yeah.
Didn't have anything, wanted everything, and I did my best to get everything.
Yeah.
So over time, it was like me and my wife going paycheck to paycheck, and then being like, I should get one of these, and all of a sudden be like, hey, can we get one of these? And she's like, well, we can't afford it. We don't have any money. I'm like, I just got paid yesterday, and I got paid this much. Why can't I afford like a $25 thing? She's like, it's all gone. I'm like, and we would like scuffle a little bit verbally about this, and then one day it was just like we had one of those. I sat downstairs and I was watching YouTube, and I was like, that's it. That enough is enough. Like Dave said, it was that snapping point, and lo and behold, Dave's face was on like one of the suggested videos. I'm like, So I clicked on that, and that was literally 3 months of me watching Ramsey Show videos on YouTube, just pulling in as much information and research as possible. I'm like, we should do this. And then my wife's like, well, funny thing, they're doing financial peace at our church. So we signed up, met with Jake, who I actually work with now. We actually co-hosted the last financial peace last year.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And my plan is to teach financial peace with Jake as 2 separate groups for the church as well.
Amazing, you guys. Oh my gosh. Okay, Laura, during all of this, what are you thinking? Are you just like, finally we're on board, we're gonna make progress in this, or did it take some convincing on your end to start this process?
I mean, I was ready, and I trusted him. He's been the money guy, the nerd alert guy.
Yeah.
Right? When we read about the nerd and the free spirit, we don't really have a free spirit, but we definitely have a nerd. So I trusted him in this process, and so it was hard. Of course it was hard. I mean, I love to travel. We didn't take big vacations. We camped a bit with the kids, which was great.
Yeah.
I drove a really terrible car for a while, but it got me. We still have it. My daughter drives it because, we're not paying on it, right? It moves. It's perfect for an 18-year-old. So it was not easy, but now, I mean, every moment was worth it because of the freedom. And I think the most important for me is this legacy that we're leaving for our kids. We started late. We're 45, so we started late in life. We were 41 when we started, but she goes to college this fall, and we're cash flowing that.
Oh, wow.
So we're setting up our kids to not have student loan debt, to live without credit cards. They both have jobs. Even my 13-year-old, he scoops dog poop because he needs money to spend, and he knows he's not going to get it for free from us.
You got great parents, young man.
Awesome.
What was it like being married to a guy that was out of control?
I just kind of felt like I was just hanging on. I was trying to pay the bills and all these credit cards. Some were teeny, some were big, but it was just treading water and trying to hang on to this lifeboat to get us through. And so it was hard. It was really hard. And our marriage, we struggled in our marriage because of that, because there were arguments about money. He didn't really understand the finances because I was in charge of it, and I was trying to hold on to it really tight because I was afraid. So when we became this team, this partnership, and the communication opened up, and we developed this trust about our money, and we were making these decisions together. So not only are we financially free, but our marriage is stronger than it ever has been.
And you talked about legacy change. we often talk about legacy change here in the company financially, right? You've changed your kids' financial future. But your kids also got a ringside seat to watching mom and dad be absolute gangsters and heal a marriage and do hard things and say, I submit to this process. What I'm doing is not working. I got to do something else. And we got to head to the basement and spend some time on the tubes, right? We got to figure this out. But your kids got a ringside seat into that. And so both of them are going to find themselves in situations where they're over their head. That's part of growing up.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have, oh, wait a minute. Mom and dad gave me a roadmap here. We can do crazy, hard stuff, and we can figure this out, which is amazing. I'm so proud of y'all.
It's part of that legacy, you guys. Well done.
Thank you.
It's been such a journey, years and years and years of doing it.
Yeah.
And now it's done.
Yes.
It's done. And
Have you got that first paycheck that deposited and you have no bills? Has it already come?
Yes.
Is it wild?
It is wild. And it's hard. I mean, we have these habits where we hold things really tight. The budget, it's like we have a lot of conversations about that. Like, you can buy that $6 coffee, Laura. It's okay. We can afford. I don't know what it was the other day.
You could buy that $1.49 box of Kleenex.
You gotta go back and do it again.
Slow down, Drew. Slow down. That's awesome, guys.
Oh, you guys, I'm so glad that y'all came to Nashville and we get to be with you in person and celebrate with you because we're so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
Man, what an incredible story. Well, we have the Live and Give bundle over here that we're going to gift you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It has Baby Steps Millionaires, Total Money Makeover, Financial Peace University, everything you need, but you're coordinating the class, so thank you for doing that and spreading hope to others.
You can give this away to somebody that shows up to your class and can't afford it. You got them.
That's right. Absolutely.
Love it.
Okay, so before the scream, your kids are here, so bring them on up. And what are their names and ages?
So this is Cassie. Cassie's 18, off to college this fall, and this is Drew. Drew's 13.
Cassie and Drew. I was you at your age with parents busting it and doing it. And man, what an incredible gift that you guys have of parents. So well done, you guys, as a family. All right, we got Steve and Laura from Kalamazoo, and they paid off $266,000 in 49 months, making $124,000 to $150,000. All right, you guys, count it down. Let's hear your big debt-free scream.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
We are debt-free! Well done. Incredible. That's it.
So rad.
Man. Mortgage and all, you guys. Mortgage and all. So you all listening, no, you can do it. You just got to make the decision and say, hey, am I going to start this process? And they are living proof that anyone can do it. So well done. We'll be back.